Go. Hi, my name is Hugo, here with Buk Tv. We're sitting right here with Ben. Say hi to the world, Ben.
How you doing, guys?
So, what made you start your own registry, bro?
Well, basically, just to break it down, I've been in the dog world for about 9 years now. I'm definitely not a new guy in the dog world. I produce a lot of hot dogs. But I was producing such nice dogs that I started seeing certain people that were in my circle, do some shady stuff. Paper hanging, tagging papers, fake papering, whatever the case you may call it. But that's what happened. There was a gentleman named Dennis Carey when I first started. He was my business partner. We started off as Cali Cartel Pits. Well, what happened was we had a West Side Monster litter that we threw on the ground. At that time, West Side Monster was hot. He's off of Juan Gotti. What happened was when we had that litter, a lot of people wanted those puppies. We sold them pretty much all over the states, all over the United States. One of the main guys that got that blood, his name was Sean from True Tank Kennels. He owned a dog called Short Shot. And I didn't know, but him and Dennis were making side deals, without me. And that kind of really is kind of one of my first problems. What he ended up doing was he ended up selling the dog to Sean, and Sean ended up fake papering the dog because I wouldn't give him the papers, because what I was told from Dennis was Sean was going to give us a female off a Short Shot in exchange for 2 puppies off of Direct Santana's litter, which is a West Side Monster meets Baby Blue. And since I never got my puppy right away, I told Dennis I'm not giving him my papers. That's what I thought was fair. Dennis was like, all right, no problem. Well, I ended up finding out that he produced some dogs, with my blood, and started fake papering them. And the way that I found that out was one of his cousins from Mexicali. He was in the Navy. He called me up one day and he tells me, hey, I think I got one of your dogs. And so I tell him, well, what do you mean? And he goes, well, yeah, I think I got one of your dogs. It looks just like one of your dogs. And I go, okay, well, let me see some pictures. So he sent me some pictures. The gentleman's name was Michael Chandler. He was from Big Mike Pits. And what he told me was that Sean sent him a female puppy, blue female puppy, which was Santana's littermate sister. And he sent it with Short Shot papers and wanted to say it was a Short Shot daughter. Well, good thing Michael called me and was honest and told me the story, and he wanted to give me the credit. So Michael called me, he wanted his papers. So at that time, Michael was breeding the female that he got from Sean, supposedly Short Shot papers. He was breeding it to his Short Shot blood. So we ended up just splitting the litter. That way he didn't have to spend no money because he already got ripped off by Sean and Dennis. So we kind of just, squashed it from there. That's how I got Sharplands, Texas, and she's pretty popular in the dog world. But that was one of the instance of fake papering. Another instance, I had a dog named Patron. Once I produced my West Side Monster meets Baby Blue litter, I produced a really nice litter, and I took my female, my best female. Her name was Silk, and she was West Side Monster's best female in the world. No one had a better female than her. She was actually the same size as her dad and looked pretty much identical to her dad, almost like a clone. Well, we took her to New Trojan Kennels Rolex, and we produced a litter which was really nice. The male that we produced from there, his name was Patron. He's world famous around the world. There was a guy named Eddie, and Eddie, he bugged me for about 2 years to try to get some of that blood. I didn't, he was cool. He seemed like a pretty nice guy. He had a family, a daughter, a child. He had a house. I seen that he could provide for the blood. So, I called him one day and I said, let's call him Patron. I couldn't have him here where I was at because it was a little bit of a smaller place. Santana was a little rowdy too. He already had a couple of titles under his belt for being rowdy. So I didn't want anything to happen to Patron, so I did what was his best interest, which was I gave him to Eddie as a co-own. As 2 years went by, a lot of people wanted to use Patron. They loved him. They said he was the best dog in the world. The guy would take him to shows all over the place, just pretty much put him out there. One thing I didn't know, though, is that he was fake papering my dog. He got some UKC papers and he forged my name off of them, acting like if I sold him the dog, And then, you know, once I seen UKC do that, I was like, wow, these guys just don't stop paper hanging. Wow. So I just felt like it was necessary, you know, to start a registry, you know, that people can trust, that people can, you know, rely on, and that will protect the bloodlines of today. Because there's some beautiful dogs out there, guys. I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, lots of beautiful dogs, and I hate that people don't be honest. I hate that people take your blood, your hard-worked, earned blood, and fake paper it like they did to me. So considering that I've been fake papered here and there, that's kind of what forced me into starting my own registry. I called UKC and I complained to them. You know, I told them, hey, you know, you guys are fake papering my dogs, and I DNA challenged them. You know, considering I had Santana, which is the West Side Monster meets Baby Blue litter, he was actually off a dog, West Side Monster meets Juan Gotti, but behind Juan Gotti was Gray Lines Raider 2. And behind Gray Lines Raider 2, that's when there were some fake papers for a lot of years, about 20 years. They had a dog called Chain Gang Barney on there under his paperwork, but in reality, Gray Lines Raider 2's father was Westbrook's Do-Goods Camacho. So when I found that out, you know, I went and talked to Warren direct, went to his house, you know, drove up. You know, I remember me and my cousin Eddie. He used to be part of Stack Mags, the magazine at the time. You know, we rolled up to Warren's house, man. He barbecued for us. Just had a great time, and we got to learn a lot of the history directly from Warren. You know, the guy's a real good guy. He had 5 acres and of nothing but beautiful dogs on his yard. It was almost like going into a zoo full of pit bulls. It was pretty crazy, man, but it was a good experience. And when I found out the truth, I called UKC, I complained, and I complained about my dogs, but in addition to that, I complained about my papers being fake from the beginning. So when I started complaining to them, I had asked them if they would DNA my dogs so I can DNA challenge them, because I knew Warren and I can go to his yard and get some of the old dogs and get their DNA and kind of just really catch them in their old ball game. Well, when I told them that, I didn't tell them in such a great way, I'll be honest. You know, I lightweight, you know, yelled at them, and I was upset. But unfortunately, because I was that way and because I DNA challenged them, you know, they suspended me. Which is probably the best thing they could have ever did for me. Because had they not suspended me for me being insubordinate and DNA challenging them, I would have never started Buck. I would have still been fake papering with UKC to this day. Just like the rest of the world. So, you know, to be honest with you, that's why I started Buck Registry. I wanted to make sure people couldn't fake paper dogs. So I came up with some type of checks and balances to guarantee it and to ensure it. And one of the main things that we focused on Buck was we did the DNA profiling. Now this DNA profiling is really crucial, and I'll tell you why in a sec. Don't get me wrong, a lot of registries do it. But the difference between our registry and others is they'll send you the kit in the mail, and you know, you get the kit, you're all happy, cool. But who's to say you're not going to fake paper that? You know, who's to say you're not going to take the DNA from another dog when it's really not that dog? Who's to say that? You know, anybody can do it if anybody can do it. You know what I mean? So we figured, you know what if we made a vet do the procedure? You know, we know it's going to cost a little bit more as far as, you know, finances go, but I think people that spend that a little bit more, they're going to show integrity and honor and respect, and they're going to take care of the breed by doing the DNA with the vet. Now, if the vet makes the mistake, well, we have lawyers that will sue the vets, not the customer. By all means, you know, the customers, they make mistakes. Anybody can make a mistake. This way, we depend on a vet. That way, there's guaranteed no mistakes. And if there was a mistake, of course, you know, we go after the vet. So that's kind of our whole thing with the DNA. Since we started our registry, we also wanted to make sure that we had our, you know, our grandparents and great-grandparents of all of our dogs. We wanted to make sure they were DNA'd so that way people had proper paperwork. But it was just a big mix-up, you know, with UKC, and that's kind of what started us to go the Buck route, to start our own registry. It wasn't affordable, I gotta tell you. I spent probably about, you know, close to $2,000 DNA profiling all my yard. And then I spent another, you know, close to $10,000 getting the proper licenses and paperwork, and man, it was a lot, I won't lie. But I figured if I took this step, I'd be able to ensure my future customers. That way they know they're getting not only a legitimate dog, but they're also going to be safe in that bloodline. Anything they produce after that will be safe as well. So that's kind of why we started Buck Registry. You know, there's a lot of good benefits that Buck Registry has that a lot of people don't know. You know, DNA is definitely number one. Number two is, one thing about Buck is that we have our own lawyers. So, the things that happened to me in the past, with the co-owning with Patron and, Dennis Carey, and Sean from True Tank Kennels, fake papering my dogs. The nice thing about Buck is we have our own lawyers. So if any of you guys have any disputes, we have lawyers that will help you, acknowledge you and help you to make it better. And not only for you, but for the breed and for everybody else, because people just need to stop being fake. People need to stop, being dishonest. We need to really step it up for this breed. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is by getting together and supporting something that's positive and that's accurate. So this is the reason why I started Buck Registry. This is what our paperwork looks like, just to kind of let you know. This seal, our signature, it's all Sharkline certified, also Buck registered. You got your pedigree in here. We have 3 different steps on the DNA. The first step is, who's to say your dog's fake papered or not? We don't know. The first step is DNA your dog that you want to breed. That's number 1. Once you DNA that dog, and let's say you have a female and you have a male, they're both DNA'd. Now you got 2 separate DNA dogs now with Buck Registry. Once you breed those together, that puppy becomes DNA VIP, meaning both parents were DNA profiled. And when your puppy is DNA VIP, you'll get a platinum certificate. Kind of looks just like this. It'll be guaranteed, legitimate. Hey, 3 or more generations of DNA is in your dog. That's pretty much what that means. And that kind of gives people a better feeling when they're purchasing dogs out there. They're going to know, oh yeah, platinum registered, definitely, that's good. Now I've got nothing to worry about. So that's kind of our thing. We also have DNA rewards. So once you get platinum registered and you've got 3 generations or more of DNA profiling, what Buck does is we reward those people that continuing the process of DNA. So if you sell a litter of 10 puppies out there, and they all got DNA profiled and Buck registered, we're going to go ahead and send you a check in the mail because you did something positive, which was keep your legitimate business. And we respect that. So we want to honor those people that are doing right by our breed. And I think this is a great way to do it. And it's called DNA rewards. Also, if you refer somebody, let's say you refer somebody to our registry, that's showing honor and integrity. You're trying to help people get better, do better by the breed. So we want to reward you for that as well. So that's pretty much what we're about at Buck. We're definitely DNA. We're definitely giving people, money back, cash back, which is great. Another thing Buck does, a lot of people don't know, is we do a lot of, giving back to the bully community. We send money to bully rescue centers worldwide, like Pet Pack and Fresno Bully Rescue. And there's a lot of different rescues that we deal with, but we do that because we want people to be able to keep their blood, keep their dogs, keep the breed alive. And unfortunately, there's a lot of laws and stuff that are coming up in certain areas, and they're really just targeting our breed, unfortunately, making them look bad. And if you ask me, this breed's the best. You can't get nothing better. I raised all my daughters. I got 3 daughters. I'm married. I'm a husband. I got my wife and my 3 daughters. They've all been raised around pit bulls their whole life, and I got to tell you, they've been the best dogs. They've been great for protection. Great for being a nanny to my children when I couldn't, be there. Maybe I had to read a book or, cook. You know how that goes. They've been great for us. So to us, we give back to the community. We want to definitely make sure that that's going to continue and have people blessed and other families get to experience what we've experienced with this great breed. So we want to definitely keep that alive and keep it going. And we feel like, Buck Registry, or a registry in general, and it might not be Buck, but we felt like there's definitely a registry that had to step it up, and that's what we did. So that's kind of in a nutshell, that's kind of Buck Registry. That's what we're about. Is it the right registry for you? Well, I got to tell you, as a breeder, as a dog lover, as a pit bull lover, what have you. That's something that you're going to have to look in the mirror, really, as a person, as a human being, and really think, are you going to step it up for your dogs? Are you going to do something about all this negative, fake papering, that people are doing? Are you going to let people ruin your breed? That's a question you're going to have to ask yourself. And that's something that I ask myself. What am I going to do to improve not only my yard, but my future? And not only my future, but anybody that's a part of our registry. and that's why we did what we did. And we really hope that you guys do step it up, and we really do hope that you guys do get buck registered, because really it is great for the breed, and it's definitely something you want to support. We're really positive, and we really do love the breed. We appreciate your time. You know, we want to tell you thank you for loving your dogs, and we hope you get buck registered, guys. Thank you. I'm Ben Gallego from Buck Registry. Have a nice